When I was a boy, I used to have some favourite cotton t-shirts. I really enjoyed wearing them because they were so comfortable. And the older they were, the more I liked them, the more comfortable they were. They really had matured well for me after a number of years, when they had started to become a little bit faded, when there were little holes that started to appear. That's when I really enjoyed wearing them. They were just so comfortable to wear those old t-shirts. And it was about that time, of course, that Mum would notice these old shirts and she'd go, "That's looking a bit old, we need to get rid of that and get you a new one." So the thing would start all over again. In the collect, in the opening prayer today, there's an uncommon phrase. It says, "the good things that pass away." You might wonder what that means. Well, for me, that immediately means my old cotton t-shirts. Good things that pass away. Things that I really enjoyed, but over time they begin to decompose, to break down, to pass away. Perhaps we can all think of some good thing that passes away, which we treasure, which we really enjoy. Perhaps a pair of shoes that we just really enjoy wearing. Perhaps a jacket, especially in weather like this, that we just really enjoy. An old chair that's just so comfy, we love sitting in that chair. All these good things, material benefits, material blessings, material goods, which pass away. Things that we enjoy, things that perhaps we're a little attached to. We certainly, in many ways, couldn't imagine living without these things. We couldn't imagine living without mobile phones, cars, washing machines, things like that. A fundamental truth is that all these things come from God. All these material blessings that we have ultimately come from God. Certainly we might say, well, I've earned a lot of the money to buy these things, true, but ultimately all these things come from God. All of creation is from God's hand. Even the employment, even the jobs that we have, that too comes from God. And in the scriptures, in various places, there's the biblical figures who recognise this fundamental truth, that all these material blessings come from God. There's one place in particular in the book of Deuteronomy where there's this recognition that all comes from God. It speaks of someone who might be travelling, an Israelite travelling to Jerusalem, which is the capital city, to the temple Jerusalem, and it prescribes a set of words that the Israelite is to pray to the Lord, kind of a confession like the creed that we pray, confessing to God his truths, his realities. And this is what we read. So the Israelite prays this, speaks this to God. "The Lord brought us here and gave us this land, a land where milk and honey flow. Here then I bring the first fruits of the produce of the soil that you, Lord, have given me." So the Israelite first of all recognises the good things that he's received from God. The land of Israel, which has been given to him, all the produce of the soil, most of them were farmers, everything that came from the ground, recognised this is from God. All the farm animals, the cattle, the sheep, that too all came from God. And here he confesses to God, he says, all this comes from you. And then he does something interesting. He says, he gives a portion of what he has received back to God. He expresses his gratitude to God for all these material blessings by returning to God a portion of what God has given to him. And this gives us the logic for financial giving to God. It shows us that there's a religious dimension to this. It's got to do with our relationship with God. It connects our life of faith with the material blessings that we recognise that we have received in our lives. In effect, what we're saying is, Lord, I recognise the good things, the material blessings, the good things that pass away, which you have given to me. And I want to express my gratitude to you. And a simple way that I do that, Lord, is by returning to you a portion of what you have given to me. Perhaps a concrete thing that we can do this week is to recall all those many material blessings that God has given to us in the past. If we think back, all those good material goods that we've received from God, and even until this day, the good things that we enjoy from God's hand. And then perhaps to consciously thank God for those things, to find a way of just perhaps in prayer, saying to the Lord, thank you for all these good things which you have given to me. I recognise that now. The good things that pass away. We can all think of material blessings that we have received from the Lord's hand. The fundamental truth is they all come from God, every single one of them. And we can recognise this truth. We can return thanks to God. A concrete thing we can do this week is to think through his many blessings in our life, in the lives of our families, and to consciously thank him for all these wonderful things. May his name be praised.